Why do people feel drawn to you? What spark in your presence pulls others into your orbit, makes them linger, makes them want to know more?
Carl Jung, the visionary who plumbed the depths of the human psyche, offered an answer that's both unsettling and profound. It begins with the persona, the mask you wear to face the world. It's the version of yourself you craft to navigate life, to charm, to fit in, to survive. But is it really you? Or is it a carefully sculpted facade, a shield hiding the raw, unpolished truth of who you are? Here's the first brutal truth. People fall for the mask you wear, not the soul you hide. Jung described the persona as that which in reality one is not, but which oneself as well as others think one is. It's the smile you flash to win over a stranger, the confidence you project in a high-stakes meeting, the witty remark that lights up a room. The persona is your armor, polished to perfection, designed to make you likable, acceptable, safe. It's powerful, magnetic even. It's why people gravitate toward you, why they laugh at your jokes, trust your words, seek your company. But there's a catch. The persona isn't the whole story. It's a performance, a role you play to meet the world's expectations. And deep down, you know it. Have you ever felt that disconnect? That moment when the applause feels hollow because you know they're clapping for a version of you that's not entirely real? Think about it. The persona is everywhere. It's in the way you dress to impress, the way you soften your opinions to avoid conflict, the way you hide your quirks to blend in. It's the filter you apply to your words, your actions, your very being. And it works. Oh, how it works. People are drawn to it like moths to a flame. They see the polished surface, the carefully curated image, and they fall for it. But what happens when the mask slips? What happens when the real you, the one with doubts, fears, and messy edges, starts to show? Do you fear that moment, or do you secretly long for it? The moment when someone sees beyond the mask and still stays? Jung's insight cuts deep because it forces a confrontation with a truth we'd rather avoid. The persona, for all its power, is a lie. Not a malicious one, but a lie nonetheless. It's a compromise, a bargain you strike with the world to be accepted, to be loved. I once knew someone who was the life of every party. Charismatic, quick-witted, always the center of attention. Everyone adored her. But late one night, over a quiet drink, she admitted she felt like a fraud. "They love who I pretend to be," she said, her voice breaking. "I don't even know if they'd like the real me." That's the weight of the persona. It draws people in, but it traps you in a role you can't escape. Have you ever felt that weight? That fear that if you let the mask slip, the love, the admiration, the connection might vanish? The persona isn't inherently bad. Jung saw it as necessary, a tool to navigate the complexities of human interaction. Without it, we'd be too raw, too vulnerable, too exposed. But the danger lies in letting it define you. When you become the mask, when you let it dictate your choices, your words, your life, you lose something precious. You lose yourself. The brutal truth is that people may fall for your persona, but they're not falling for you. They're falling for a shadow, a projection, a carefully crafted illusion. And that illusion comes at a cost. It's exhausting to maintain. It's lonely to live behind. And it's fragile because no mask can hold forever. Here's a question that stings. How much of your life is spent performing? How many times have you smiled when you wanted to cry, agreed when you wanted to argue, stayed silent when you wanted to scream? The persona is a survival mechanism, but it's also a cage. It keeps you safe, but it keeps you small. Jung warned that when the persona dominates, the real self, the messy, complex, beautiful self, gets buried. And yet, it's that real self that holds the key to deeper connections, to the kind of love that lasts, to the kind of life that feels true. So why do you cling to the mask? Is it fear of rejection? Fear of being too much or not enough? Or is it simply habit, the comfort of a role you've played so long you've forgotten it's not you? Let's anchor this with a voice from another time. Philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." Jung would have agreed. The persona is the world's demand, its attempt to shape you into something palatable, predictable, safe. But you are not safe. You are not predictable. You are a storm of contradictions, a tapestry of light and dark, a soul that defies easy definition. And that's what makes you magnetic, not the mask, but the truth it conceals. The question is, do you have the courage to let that truth shine through? The mask you wear is powerful, but it's not your power. It's a borrowed strength, a temporary charm. People may fall for it, but they stay for something else, something real, something raw, something only you can offer. Jung's analysis of the persona isn't just a psychological theory. It's a call to action. It's an invitation to loosen the mask, to let it slip, to show the world a glimpse of the soul beneath. It's terrifying, yes. The world might not applaud. Some might turn away. But others, those who matter, will see you, really see you, and they'll fall not for the mask, but for you. So what's it going to be? Will you keep playing the role, or will you dare to be real? The choice is yours, but it's one that will shape every connection you'll ever make. What if the real reason people are drawn to you lies not in the polished mask you wear, but in the hidden depths you fear to show? What if the very parts of yourself you bury, the flaws, the doubts, the untamed desires, are what pull others closer, like moths to a flickering flame? Carl Jung, the sage who mapped the uncharted territories of the human soul, called this hidden realm the shadow, the parts of you that lurk beneath the surface, unseen but ever present. It's the side of you that's messy, raw, unpolished, and yet strangely magnetic. Here's the second brutal truth. People fall for the mystery of your shadow, even if you're terrified to let it breathe. Jung wrote, "Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. The shadow is everything you push away, the anger you swallow, the fears you deny, the dreams you deem too wild to pursue. It's the part of you that doesn't fit the persona, that doesn't conform to the world's expectations. And yet it's alive, pulsing with energy, whispering truths you'd rather not hear." Have you ever felt it? That moment when a raw emotion slips out, when a hidden truth spills into the open, and suddenly, someone looks at you differently. Not with judgment, but with curiosity, with connection? That's the shadow calling, drawing others in with its silent power. The shadow isn't just your darkness, it's your depth. It's the complexity that makes you human, the contradictions that make you compelling. Think about the people who captivate you most. Are they the ones who seem perfect, flawless, untouchable? Or are they the ones who let you glimpse their struggles, their vulnerabilities, their unfiltered selves? The shadow is magnetic because it's universal. Everyone has one. When you reveal even a hint of yours, it resonates, like a note struck on a tuning fork, vibrating in harmony with the hidden parts of others. Have you ever wondered why a moment of raw honesty, a confession, a tear, a burst of passion, creates a bond that no amount of polished charm can match? It's because the shadow speaks a language the heart understands. But here's the hard truth. Most of us fear the shadow. We hide it, not just from others, but from ourselves. We tell ourselves it's too ugly, too dangerous, too much. We bury our anger, our grief, our wildest dreams, thinking they'll make us unlovable. But what if the opposite is true? What if the very things you hide are what make you unforgettable? Jung believed the shadow holds not just our flaws, but our untapped potential, our unclaimed power. It's the part of you that dares to dream bigger, love deeper, fight harder. It's the part that refuses to conform, that yearns for authenticity over approval. So why do you keep it locked away? Is it shame? Fear of rejection? Or the belief that only the polished version of you deserves love? The shadow's call is subtle but relentless. It shows up in the moments you can't control, when your voice cracks with emotion, when you speak a truth you didn't mean to share, when your eyes betray a pain you've tried to hide. And in those moments, something shifts. People don't just see you, they feel you. I once knew a colleague who seemed reserved, professional, always in control. But one day, in a heated meeting, he admitted he was terrified of failing. The room went quiet. His vulnerability didn't weaken him, it made him real. People started confiding in him, trusting him, drawn to the humanity he dared to show. That's the shadow's power. It connects us, not through perfection, but through truth. Have you ever let your shadow slip out, even by accident, and felt the air change? Felt someone lean in, not away? Jung's insight is both a revelation and a warning. The shadow you fear is also the shadow that calls. The more you suppress it, the denser it becomes, weighing you down, distorting your life. But when you acknowledge it, when you let it breathe, it transforms. It becomes a source of strength, a bridge to others, a spark that ignites connection. The brutal truth is that people don't just fall for your light, they fall for your darkness too. They fall for the way your shadow mirrors theirs, for the courage it takes to let it show. But that courage is rare. It's easier to hide, to polish the persona, to keep the shadow locked away. So why do you do it? What's the fear that keeps your true self in the dark? Let's anchor this with a voice from another soul. Poet Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, "Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses who are only waiting to see us act, just once, with beauty and courage." Your shadow is that dragon, frightening, fierce, but hiding something precious. It's waiting for you to face it, to claim it, to let it shine. Jung would say that the shadow isn't your enemy, it's your ally, if you're brave enough to embrace it. It's the part of you that makes you unique, that draws others in, that creates bonds that last. But embracing it means letting go of control, risking judgment, daring to be seen as you are, flawed, complex, human. What would happen if you let your shadow speak? If you stopped hiding the parts of you that feel too big, too messy, too real? The shadow doesn't make you unlovable, it makes you unforgettable. It's the crack in your voice, the fire in your eyes, the truth you're afraid to say. It's the part of you that doesn't fit, and yet, it's the part that connects you to others in ways your persona never could. Jung's analysis of the shadow isn't just a theory, it's an invitation. An invitation to stop running from yourself, to stop fearing your depths, to let the world see the real you. So what's it going to be? Will you keep the shadow buried, or will you let it call? The choice is yours, but it's one that will shape every connection you'll ever have. What binds one heart to another in a way that feels like destiny? Why do some moments of meeting spark a flame that endures, while others flicker and fade into oblivion? Carl Jung, who charted the unseen currents of the soul, saw human connection as a dance, a fluid, ever-shifting interplay between the persona, the crafted face you show the world, and the shadow, the hidden truths you keep cloaked. This dance isn't choreographed or predictable. It's a living, breathing exchange that weaves two souls together. It's where attraction deepens into something profound, something transformative. So what fuels this dance? What turns a fleeting encounter into a bond that reshapes your very being? Jung's vision reveals connection as a delicate balance, a rhythm born from the tension between what you reveal and what you conceal. The persona is your opening move, your charm, your wit, your polished exterior that draws others near. It's the ease of a well-timed joke, the confidence of a steady gaze, the warmth that makes others feel safe. But the shadow is the pulse beneath, the unspoken depths that give the dance its weight. It's the hint of vulnerability in your voice, the flicker of doubt in your eyes, the raw honesty that slips through when you least expect it. The third brutal truth is this: true connection happens when your persona and shadow flow together, resonating with another's. It's not about being flawless or hiding your edges. It's about letting both parts of you move in sync, inviting another to join the rhythm. Have you ever felt a moment when words fell away and something deeper took their place? A glance, a pause, a shared silence that spoke louder than any speech? That's the dance of connection. It's not about matching steps perfectly. It's about vulnerability, about letting the mask soften and the shadow peek through. Jung saw connection as alchemy, a meeting of two souls that changes both forever. But alchemy requires courage. It asks you to step into the unknown, to let your polished self and your hidden self move together, to trust that another will meet you there. Are you afraid to take that step? Afraid that revealing too much will break the spell? Or do you sense deep down that the spell is only cast when you dare to be real? The persona alone can captivate, but it's the shadow that binds. The persona draws people in with its light, its ease, its promise of safety. But it's the shadow, the fears you don't voice, the dreams you barely admit to yourself, that creates depth. When you let a piece of your shadow show, even for a moment, you offer a gift, the chance for another to see themselves in you. It's the unspoken recognition of shared humanity, the silent acknowledgement that we all carry light and dark. Why do we shy away from this? Why do we polish the persona to a shine while burying the shadow? Because the dance is risky. You can't predict the other's steps. You can't control whether they'll embrace your truth or turn away. But that risk is what makes the dance alive, what makes it matter. Jung's insight is a revelation. Connection thrives not on similarity, but on resonance. Your persona might align with another's, creating laughter, ease, a spark of recognition. But it's the shadow that deepens the bond, that turns a moment into a memory. When your hidden fears echo theirs, when your quiet hopes find a mirror in their soul, the dance becomes something more, a shared rhythm that feels like home. Have you ever felt that pull? That moment when you sense, without words, that someone sees you, not just the surface, but the depths? That's the dance, and it's where true connection is born. Let's weave in a voice from beyond. Poet Khalil Gibran wrote, "Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love and must needs have desires, let these be your desires, to melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night." Connection, like love, is a melting, a surrender to the flow of another's being. It's not about holding tight to the persona or hiding the shadow. It's about letting both move freely, like a brook singing its truth. It's about trusting the dance, trusting that the right people will hear your melody and join you? Can you let yourself melt into that flow? Can you let your light and dark dance together, unafraid? The dance of connection is fragile, easily broken by fear or pretense. Lean too heavily on the persona, and you create distance, admiration perhaps, but not intimacy. Hide the shadow too fiercely, and you rob the dance of its soul, leaving only surface steps. But when you let both move together, when you allow your polished self and your raw self to coexist, you create something rare, a connection that feels alive, electric, true. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. It's about showing up, mask and shadow, and inviting another to do the same. What would it feel like to dance without holding back? To let your whole self move, knowing that the right people will stay? Jung's vision of connection is a call to courage. It challenges you to let your guard down, to risk being seen, to trust that your shadow won't drive others away, but draw them closer. It's a reminder that the connections that matter aren't built on pretense, they're built on truth. The people who stay, who truly fall for you, aren't captivated by a performance. They're captivated by you, the whole you, the light and the dark, the persona and the shadow. So, what keeps you from stepping into the dance? Is it the fear that your truth is too much? That your shadow will scare others away? Or is it the habit of hiding, the comfort of the mask? This dance isn't just about others, it's about you. Every time you let your persona and shadow move together, every time you let someone see your truth, you grow. You become more whole, more authentic, more alive. Jung believed that connection is transformative, a chemical reaction that changes both parties. When you dance with another, you're not just building a bond, you're building yourself. You're learning to embrace your complexity, to honor your contradictions, to live without fear. Have you felt that shift? That moment when a connection makes you feel more like yourself, not less? The dance of connection is the heart of Jung's wisdom. It's where attraction becomes meaning, where fleeting moments become lasting bonds. It's not about having the perfect steps, it's about showing up, light and dark, and moving with courage. The world is full of shallow encounters, of masks meeting masks, afraid to let the shadows show. But you can choose differently. You can step onto the dance floor, let your persona and shadow weave together, and invite others to join you. Will you stay in the shadows, clinging to the safety of the mask? Or will you step into the rhythm, trusting that the dance will lead you to connection, to truth, to yourself? The music is playing. The choice is yours. What does it mean to truly connect, to be seen, to be loved for the fullness of who you are? Carl Jung's exploration of the psyche offers not just an answer, but a challenge. A call to step beyond the masks we wear and the shadows we hide, to embrace the whole of ourselves in a world that often demands less. The dance of connection, with its interplay of persona and shadow, is not just about why others fall for you. It's about why you must let them. It's about choosing to shine, not as a polished facade or a concealed mystery, but as the complex, radiant, imperfect being you are. So what will you choose? To hide behind the safety of a curated self, or to step into the light, flaws and all, and let the world see you? Jung's wisdom reveals a truth that cuts through the noise. The world doesn't need another mask. It doesn't need another perfectly crafted persona, another carefully guarded shadow. It needs you, your light, your dark, your contradictions, your truth. The final brutal truth is this: to be loved, to be known, to connect deeply, you must choose to shine as your whole self. Not the version you think others want, not the version that feels safe, but the version that's real. The version that carries both the charm of your persona and the depth of your shadow. Have you ever felt that pull? That quiet urge to stop pretending, to let go of the performance, to just be? This choice is not easy. The world is relentless in its demand for conformity, for polished surfaces, for easy answers. It tempts you to hide your rough edges, to silence your doubts, to bury the parts of you that don't fit. But Jung's analysis reminds us that those rough edges, those doubts, those hidden parts are exactly what make you magnetic. They're what draw others in, what create bonds that endure beyond the fleeting thrill of attraction. The persona might catch an eye, but it's the shadow that captures a heart. When you let both shine together, you offer something rare: authenticity. And authenticity is the spark that turns a moment into a lifetime. So why do you hesitate? Is it the fear that your truth won't be enough? That your shadow will drive others away? Or is it the comfort of staying hidden, of playing a role you've mastered? The choice to shine is a rebellion. It's a refusal to let the world define you, to let fear dictate your worth. Jung believed that true connection transforms both parties, like a chemical reaction that leaves neither unchanged. When you choose to shine, you're not just inviting others to see you, you're inviting yourself to become more. More whole, more alive, more you. Every time you let your persona soften, every time you let your shadow breathe, you grow. You step closer to the person you were meant to be, not the person the world expects. Have you ever felt that growth? That moment when being seen for who you are makes you feel stronger, not smaller? Let's anchor this with a voice from another soul. Poet Mary Oliver wrote, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" Jung's teachings echo this question. Your life, your connections, your very existence, they're too precious to be spent hiding. The choice to shine is the choice to live fully, to love deeply, to connect authentically. It's the choice to let your persona and shadow dance together, to let your light and dark weave a story only you can tell. It's the choice to stop apologizing for your complexity and start celebrating it. What would it feel like to make that choice? To live without pretense, to love without fear, to shine without shame? The world is full of masks, of people hiding their shadows, afraid to be too much or too little. But you don't have to be one of them. You can choose to be different, to be real. Jung's analysis is not just a theory, it's a roadmap. It shows you that connection begins with you, with your willingness to embrace your whole self, to let your persona and shadow coexist, to trust that the right people will love you for it. The choice to shine is a daily one, a moment-by-moment commitment to authenticity. It's in the way you speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. It's in the way you own your flaws, not as weaknesses, but as part of your strength. It's in the way you let others see you, not as a performance, but as a person. This choice is transformative, not just for you, but for everyone you touch. When you shine, you give others permission to do the same. You create a ripple effect, a chain of courage that spreads far beyond your own life. Jung understood that connection is a mirror. What you show the world reflects back to you. When you show your truth, you invite others to show theirs. When you shine, you light the way for others to do the same. Have you ever felt that power? That moment when your honesty inspires someone else's, when your courage sparks theirs. That's the gift of choosing to shine, a gift that keeps giving long after the moment has passed. So here's the final challenge. What will you do with this wild and precious life? Will you hide behind the mask, keeping your shadow locked away, safe but unseen? Or will you step into the light, letting your whole self shine, trusting that the right people will meet you there? Jung's wisdom is clear. The connections that matter, the ones that last, are built on truth. Not perfection, not pretense, but the raw, radiant truth of who you are. The world is waiting, not for another mask, but for you. Your light, your dark, your everything. The choice to shine is yours, but it's one that will shape every connection, every moment, every breath you take. Choose now. Choose you.